Have you ever heard of the Cryptoqueen who the FBI has been searching for years? No?
How about the leader of the most influential gang who managed to escape from prison? Still no?
Then you've missed out on a lot. In this video, I'll tell you about the most wanted criminals of 2024. Enjoy watching. I'd like to start by telling you about a woman who managed to deceive the entire world. Ruja Ignatova, known as the Cryptoqueen, was added to the FBI's most wanted list in the summer of 2022. Her scheme became one of the biggest in the history of cryptocurrency. In 2014, Ignatova, a native of Bulgaria, along with her brother and several accomplices, launched
OneCoin Latite. At first glance, it seemed like a promising project connected to innovative technologies and cryptocurrencies. However, instead of real
blockchain investments, participants were actually investing in educational materials that promised to teach them how to profit from cryptocurrency. The project attracted many people unfamiliar with technology but eager for quick profits. OneCoin operated like a typical pyramid scheme, sustained by multi-level marketing. Over 3 years, the project collected more than 4 billion euros, leaving thousands of people worldwide with empty wallets. By 2017, the pyramid began to collapse, and Ignatova faced difficult questions she couldn't answer. Just before a planned meeting with defrauded investors, she suddenly disappeared and has been on the run ever since. In the US, Ignatova is charged with wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. The FBI suspects she may be traveling with armed security and could have altered her appearance through plastic surgery. Most of her accomplices have either been arrested or are in hiding from the law. The next criminal has been on the most wanted list longer than anyone else, since 2007. Alexis Flores, a native of Honduras, is wanted for the brutal kidnapping, rape, and murder
of 5-year-old Iriana de Jesus in Philadelphia in the summer of 2000.
The crime remained unsolved for a long time, but thanks to modern scientific methods and a fortunate coincidence, Flores's guilt was confirmed. In the early 2000s, residents of the Hunting Park area in Philadelphia knew Flores under the name Carlos, thinking he was a homeless drifter. They showed him kindness by offering him shelter and work. However, shortly after Iriana's disappearance, her body was found in the basement of an abandoned house 5 days later. Flores suddenly vanished. Locals suspected him of the crime, but all efforts to catch him were unsuccessful. In 2002, Flores resurfaced on police radar
after committing a theft in Arizona. 2 years later, counterfeit documents were found in his apartment, leading to his arrest.
However, his connection to Iriana's murder was not yet known. Flores was so friendly that the police didn't suspect him of a major crime. In 2005, Flores was deported to Honduras, but his DNA remained in the database. 2 years later, a match was found with samples from the crime scene. Since then, Alexis Flores has been on the run, and it's believed he is still hiding in Honduras. The next criminal on our list at first glance had somewhat noble intentions, but his methods, to put it mildly, were questionable. Jose Rodolfo Villarreal Hernandez, known as El Gato, was added to the FBI's most wanted list in October 2020 for his involvement in an international criminal
network and for orchestrating murders. This dangerous Mexican drug lord is also known for his cruelty and desire to avenge his family. One of his most
infamous crimes was the contract killing of Texas attorney Juan Jesus Guerrero Chapa. The motive for the murder was personal revenge. Guerrero Chapa played a key role in a case involving Villarreal Hernandez's family. Investigators believe Jose was convinced that the lawyer was responsible for his father's death, and he was determined to take revenge. To do so, he hired hitmen who cold-bloodedly executed the lawyer right on the street in South Texas, in a Dallas suburb. The murder was meticulously planned, and the killers acted with chilling precision. A native of Mexico, Villarreal Hernandez, was involved in his cartel's criminal activities from a young age. Thanks to his ruthlessness and ambition, he quickly rose through the ranks of organized crime. Despite being wanted, El Gato remains at large and is believed to be hiding in Mexico, where he is protected by cartel connections and corrupt officials. The FBI is offering up to $1 million for information leading to Villarreal Hernandez's arrest, a reward much higher than the $100,000 offered for most other criminals on the list. He is considered armed and extremely dangerous, traveling with bodyguards and frequently changing locations to evade capture. Yulan Adonai Archaga Carias, also known as El Profesor and Maquila, is one of the most dangerous and wanted criminals in the world. He holds a high-ranking position
In the criminal hierarchy of MS-13, one of the most violent and influential gangs in Latin America.
Archaga Carias, a native of Honduras, directs the gang's activities on an international level, coordinating criminal operations not only in Central America, but also in the United States. MS-13, notorious for its extreme violence and brutal executions of rivals, is involved in murders, drug trafficking, extortion, and many other crimes. Archaga Carias played a key role in expanding the gang's influence and maintaining control over territories.
He also strengthened ties with other criminal groups, making MS-13 one of the most powerful criminal networks in the world. Carias led the organization from Honduras,
continuing to run his criminal empire even from behind bars, where he was serving time. In 2020, he managed to escape from a high-security prison in Honduras, and since then, law enforcement agencies in multiple countries have been searching for him. The FBI considers Archaga Carias extremely dangerous. A reward of up to $100,000 is being offered for information leading to his arrest. He is believed to be moving with heavily armed security and hiding somewhere in Latin America, continuing to oversee MS-13's activities. Next on our list is Padreskumar Chetanbhai Patel, an Indian citizen. He has been on the list of the most wanted criminals in the United States since April 18, 2015. The reason for this was the brutal murder of his wife, Palak, which occurred just 6 days before his name was added to the list. At the time, 24-year-old Padreskumar and his 21-year-old wife were temporarily living in the U.S., where they worked at a diner in Hanover owned by a relative. On the evening of April 12th, several customers who hadn't been served contacted a nearby police officer. Soon, the officer discovered Palak dead in the kitchen of the establishment. Surveillance footage revealed that she was killed by her husband
using a large kitchen knife. The investigation found that on the day of the murder, Palak had been speaking on the phone with relatives in India, expressing her desire to return home. Padreskumar overheard the conversation and became enraged as he planned to stay in the U.S. This conflict over the couple's
future, according to investigators, was the catalyst for the tragedy. Despite quickly identifying him as the perpetrator, Padreskumar managed to flee. His trail led from their apartment to a hotel near the airport, where he collected his belongings. A taxi driver who transported him noted the passenger's surprising calmness. The last known sighting of Patel was on the morning of April 13th at Penn Station in Newark. Investigators believe he either left the U.S. or is hiding with relatives in the country. By the way, 2 fugitives from this list were recently apprehended. One of them is New Zealander Michael James Pratt. According to FBI reports from 2012 to 2019, Michael was involved in a large conspiracy to recruit young women and underage girls across America to participate in pornographic videos. He and his accomplices used deception, threats, and coercion to run their criminal enterprise. The ads they posted falsely advertised prestigious modeling jobs. However, the true nature of the work was revealed only during face-to-face meetings, when women and girls were confronted with the fact that they would be participating in pornographic shoots. Those who refused were given false assurances that the videos would never be posted online. When that didn't work, the criminals resorted to more aggressive methods, including psychological pressure and detaining the victims in studios until they agreed to participate. In some cases, it even escalated to sexual violence. All the filmed material was uploaded to pornographic websites, generating multi-million-dollar profits for Pratt and his associates. Over the years, they earned more than $17 million from their criminal activities. In 2019, the authorities began closing in on them, and Michael Pratt, facing the threat of arrest, went on the run. In September 2022, his name was added to the FBI's 10 Most Wanted list, with a reward of $100,000 offered for information leading to his whereabouts. According to media reports, this information helped apprehend Pratt in a Madrid hotel where he was hiding using fake documents. But as I mentioned earlier, 2 were arrested. The second was Rafael Caro Quintero, a 70-year-old Mexican. Caro Quintero is one of the most notorious names in Mexico's drug mafia of the late 1970s.
Rafael was a key player in the trafficking of heroin, cocaine, and marijuana into the U.S. His influence in the criminal underworld was immense, but in 1984, Mexican authorities dealt him a serious blow by burning down his 1,000-hectare marijuana plantation,
inflicting a loss of about $160 million on the Guadalajara cartel, which he co-led. This event enraged the cartel, and their primary target for revenge became DEA Special Agent Enrique Camarena Salazar, known as Kiki. Camarena was close to uncovering the massive drug trafficking network between Mexico and the U.S., and his successful operation ultimately led to his tragic fate. On February 7, 1985, in Guadalajara, Camarena was kidnapped and murdered, allegedly on the orders of Caro Quintero himself. In April of the same year, Rafael was arrested and sentenced to 40 years in prison in Mexico. Despite his lengthy sentence, he continued to run his criminal empire from behind bars until his release in 2013, after serving 28 years due to legal errors in his sentencing. This decision outraged U.S. authorities, who began active efforts to extradite him, offering a record-breaking reward of $20 million for information leading to his arrest. Despite evidence of his guilt, Caro Quintero continues to deny involvement in Camarena's murder and claims he's had no ties to the drug trade in recent years. The next individual is Omar Alexander Cardenas, an American of Mexican descent, who
was added to the FBI's 10 most wanted list in July 2022. At 27 years old,
Cardenas is accused of murdering 45-year-old Jabali Dumas. According to the investigation, on August 15, 2019, Cardenas openly shot Dumas with a semi-automatic pistol in an open-air shopping center near Los Angeles. According to information provided by Police Chief Michael Moore, Cardenas fired 9 precise shots from about 10 meters away, all hitting the victim's head. Dumas died instantly. After the crime, Cardenas was seen leaving the shopping center in his car. Whether Cardenas knew the victim remains unclear. There is speculation that he may have acted on someone's orders as part of a local gang. The FBI believes that Cardenas may be hiding either in Mexico or Southern California. There is also information that he may be working in the construction industry. Capturing Cardenas remains a priority for law enforcement, as his whereabouts and motives remain a mystery. Finally, I want to remind everyone that alcohol is dangerous. Why? I'll explain now. Arnoldo Jimenez, a 40-year-old criminal, has been on the list of America's most wanted
fugitives since 2019. His crime, which caught the attention of law enforcement, occurred on the night after his wedding to Estrella Carrera. The couple married in 2012 at Chicago City Hall. After the ceremony, they had a dinner with guests and continued celebrating at a nightclub.
However, the return home ended in tragedy. According to the FBI, on the way from the club to their home, a heated argument broke out between the newlyweds. While intoxicated, Jimenez fatally stabbed Carrera several times right in the car. Trying to cover up the crime, he moved his dying or already deceased wife into their apartment and left her in the bathtub. Estrella's body was discovered by her family members when they grew concerned about her absence.
She was still in the silver dress she had worn for the wedding. The lack of forced entry and Jimenez's
disappearance led the police to conclude that he was involved in the murder. In the days following the crime, Jimenez traveled through several states, which was traced through his phone calls. In September 2012, a significant lead emerged when police arrested his brother, Humberto Jimenez, on drug charges. During a search of Humberto's garage, they found a black Maserati with traces of Estrella Carrera's blood inside. The police suspect that Humberto may have helped Arnoldo escape to Mexico, where he is likely hiding to this day. The FBI continues to search for Jimenez in the neighboring country, where his whereabouts remain unknown. The most important thing is to never repeat the mistakes of the people in this video. There are many ways to avoid violence, and it's possible to earn money without deceiving others. For example, join our team. We're looking for writers, voice actors, editors, and creative producers for our videos. Interested? Then click the link in the description and submit your application. Thanks for watching.